Well, we'll be back from that commercial here. We continue driving your business as Smart 24 TV. We are dedicated to make sure that we keep you up to speed with all information. Your morning Kickstarter, the show dedicated to make sure that you get all information regarding the business matters.
Very, and you can get to us anywhere you are. It could be your bathroom. Maybe you want to take a shower while watching SB. You can still do that by simply downloading the Your TV channel. And it could even work better when you use the MTN app to download that.
Comes very free.
Very free at charge, and you're able to watch Smart 24 TV anywhere across the entire place that you are, or anywhere you want to watch us from, really, and not miss out on every conversation that we bring to you. And you're able to throw your comments there, let us know what you think, what opinions do you have on our different social media platforms at Smart 24 TV.
It comes very free, cheaply free. You need to have internet, then you download. So you don't need to buy the app. Some apps are being bought. So this one, you don't need to buy. And next week,
so you just need your internet, and even to MTN and Gonza these days. So the MBs got, increased at some point, and you still get that at the same price you had. Same price? Yeah, so why not try it out? And you could be digging, because I know it's coming to a weekend. Maybe you're going to go to the farm. You may not be able to have your TV at home, so carry along that and you'll be able to watch us anywhere.
And besides that, next week we shall definitely also be bringing you more good news when it comes to reaching us across the whole region in regards to driving business.
Indeed, something big will be coming
your way. Just stick around and keep your eyes glued on Smart 24 TV. Let's drive those businesses. Well, let's speak of traffic jam, as traffic jam seems to be antagonizing the business community, with the fact that in the early morning, the rush hour has created traffic congestion across the city.
Have you had a worst experience? I do not know what worst is to you even. If you could share, maybe I could also share
my worst, and the reason I quit taxis early in the morning is reason being traffic jam. You see, when you look at conductors and taxi operators in the morning, they tend to drive accordingly. Maybe they don't want to reach very early sometimes in town.
They do not want to reach early.
But you reach a taxi, you enter a taxi where the driver feels if the taxi is too full, now it is time for me to drive the way I want. But then these people have woken up very early in the morning to reach work very early. And then you wonder why the taxi driver doesn't even mind about that.
Because he's trying to make sure he drives slowly at pace, looking around to give time to the conductor to look around who is going, and then there is that hooting that they do.
What actually irritates most about taxis is when a conductor apparently tells the driver to stop the taxi even when no one has actually raised their hand to stop the taxi. So you end up going there and they start. You know what I do know about transportation? You can easily tell who is going because they will show you the line that I'm going.
To entice. At some point, do you know why they do that? To entice. Have you ever been there and you're wondering whether I jump on a Bajaj or a boda or I go with the taxi? So the reason as to why these drivers keep hooting on the road, hooting.
No, the hooting is okay. But you ever stopping even when you
still on that. Still on that. For example, you just there, maybe it could be, maybe you have got like 5 people from one family and you're there still wondering, you're just on the road, you're still brainstorming, which one is better? Okay, one my hood will pass. But in there, you are thinking, should we indeed board the taxi or should we stop borders and, jump on them? And the other one will come, it will still pass on you, but you may not miss the third one. So in case it doesn't stop, you will still be thinking. So when it stops, maybe you could, if in case the conductors got good language, because their language is terrible at some point, their way of communication. So in case there is that one who has got, at least who knows what they really want to do at the end of the day, indeed you're going to jump into that taxi and go.
All right. Speaking of traffic jam, the Kampala metropolitan areas continue to face challenges with traffic, and this, among many reasons, has affected businesses in the city. As the congestion is a major issue around Kampala, and the reason as why most of the businesses are missing out on that early money that you will definitely make, and maybe early production. We had an interview with Superintendent Sereko Rogers, the head of traffic in Kampala metropolitan areas, and this is what he had to tell us regarding this matter.
Traffic congestion is a major issue in cities around the world, particularly in developing countries, with potentially negative effects on outcomes ranging from economic activity to health. Kampala comes with no exception when it comes to traffic jam. Traffic Police Commander, Kampala Metropolitan Superintendent of Police, Rogers Nsereko Kauma, takes us through what causes a lot of traffic on roads.
We have a lot going on in the city, as some of you might see. There's a lot of roadworks going on, especially at the parts of Clock Tower. There's that project of constructing the flyovers to ease on transport. So right now it is a challenge because the roads there are narrowed, and we have to compete with the rest of us on the road, the cars, the border borders, the pedestrians, the bicycle riders. So we are all in that narrow junction, and it affects the traffic flow because most of the cars use that area to come into the city. So naturally it has to affect the flow of traffic. So that's one major point. Then we have the border borders. We have so many border borders, and they are coupled with indiscipline. They don't have any rules they are following, and it has also caused to the build-up of jam. Then we have so many pedestrians, again, crisscrossing here and there. They don't use the crossing points, and also the crossing points are not as many. So we find also that complication of having pedestrians to have to cross through the traffic of vehicles and border borders. And then we have our Ugandan driver, the Ugandan driver. If I say Ugandan driver, I believe some of you, or most of you, know what I mean by a Ugandan driver, because these are the people you find are overlapping. They are not keeping in their lanes. They tend to overlap, and they disregard the other people who are in the lane, who are moving slowly to get to their destinations. So at the end of the day, those overlappers, they end up blocking oncoming traffic and then causing a lot of unnecessary jam. Yet, if they had remained in their lane and moved slowly, then the movement would have been a bit easier and faster, although slow, other than blocking the junction when you have no other place to go, and then the other oncoming traffic has no other place to come through. So we have, because of the narrow roads, we get incidences of broken down vehicles, especially the trucks. They affect movement of traffic because, given our narrow roads in most parts of the city here, if you get a big truck breaking down in the middle of the road, we get these problems because it takes time to clear them, and then also we don't have many breakdowns to pull such huge trucks. So it brings a lot of congestion because sometimes we have to divert road users to other routes leading to the city, so that we have a clear, the right methods of removing the truck. Otherwise, if we are to leave you there until when the truck is removed, then you might find that you might take the whole day in the traffic.
Nsereko further says that traffic jam has got these particular effects on businesses, citing the delays in transportation of goods.
Actually, jam affects business. There's a lot of loss in business because you can't imagine the number of deals that go unanswered or unattended because of jam. People lose multi-million, shilling or dollar deals because of jam. Because time is money. They say time is money. So that is the essence of that. There's a lot of time lost, productive time that would have been otherwise used productively is lost in these Kampala jams. So at the end of the day, the business won't be as productive as it would have been if the movement was a bit free and easier and smoother.
Except being less productive at work, traffic jam also causes health hazards like accidents, stress and frustration, and delayed reaction to emergencies.
Traffic jam, traffic congestion, jam. Well, when you look at what is happening across Uganda, ever since the economy was reopened, I think, I don't know whether it's the presence of too many vehicles. Rita, what is your take on the issue about traffic? So when you clearly look at that, I actually think it is because Ugandans have a lot of money and they have bought these cars. That is my own understanding. I don't want to go so deep into the traffic. I believe it is a lot of vehicles. When I say a lot of vehicles parked on the road, I'm like, now this is too much traffic.
Okay. At least I have reported traffic around Smart 24 TV for some time. So I happened to learn a lot while I was, operating from the road, from the field of that side. And traffic is not really about cars. That, like you say, cars moving or cars, a lot of cars. So you hear someone just, there is a lot of traffic. That is just traffic jam from the moment or from the side of movements. But traffic entails even how the movement, just not the movement of people and the vehicles or borders. Away from that, traffic also, you've got to look around the drainage system around the areas, because for example, when it rains, it is going to affect much. You have seen flooding areas, even around Ginger Road Junction, Ginger Road, Airtel House, Ginger Road. You will realize that that area floods when there is a heavy downpour. And it is not going to remain the same when it has flooded compared to, a just normal day. So when in case it floods, it is going to affect the way people are going to be crossing there. It's going to affect the way someone is riding around there.
There was actually too much traffic yesterday when it rained.
Very. So the weather, the drainage system is also part of traffic. And also the way pedestrians conduct ourselves on the road when we're using the road, all that is traffic. But I want us now to maybe highlight on the issue of cars. Like you said, you don't know whether people have bought a lot of cars, too many cars on the road.
UBL, UB what?
It could be. COVID-19 came as a curse and a blessing.
A blessing in disguise for many.
Yes, for very many people, and it has revamped a lot of people's business.
But someone once told me, if someone has a car, it doesn't mean they have money. So I need to change my statement, because I said it seems Ugandans have a lot of money to buy cars, because there are people who don't even have cars.
And you do not need money at some point to buy a car. Sometimes organizations give loans, and you can work.
Others are already actually also
you can
go to
work
these companies
on
and
the
buy
loan.
more.
Yes, you can work on the loan as you're paying that car.
Hey.
So what did? Yes, so if you're that person who would want maybe to drive really that quick and fast, you want to have your, steering on, you can jump on one, maybe get a contract with some organizations well established. They give loans, not only well established. It's really a mutual agreement, or you can even get different loans if you really want to drive. But away from that, we're not looking at how you're going to drive, but we're looking at the discipline that you are using on the road, because that is the same discipline that is going to affect me, is going to affect Sonko. For example, if a taxi driver is just stopping instantly without an indication that, hey, I'm going to stop here, or there is an indication I'm going to indicate left, you're indicating right. So the discipline on the road is going to affect the way I am doing my daily routine at that moment. It is either going to maybe cause an accident or slow me down, and with that we are dealing with time, and the traffic officer there was saying that time is money. Of course, when you waste time, a lot of time on the road trying to navigate through, you're wasting money, because you can imagine if you reach earlier on your workplace, you can tell. I don't want even to talk about that. You could help me on that point. I know Jawab must be watching and saying, talk about that. But yes, when you reach earlier, you want to make more. An early bird catches the warmth. I tend to believe so. But away from that, what I want to conclude with on regards to our how we handle ourselves on the road as pedestrians. Do you know to use the road? Because sometimes they tell us in school you have to look left. Did you do that training?
Look
left, right, look left again, right.
In adulthood now, we just look and see. You look and see whether the car is coming, which side is not bringing vehicles, then you have to cross. Okay. Because you may look left, then right, then
and
left again.
And here is the fact that you need to know. Here is the fact you need to know. When you're using roads, especially roads around Kampala city, more so, even more emphasis on the one-way roads, like a one-way road, you need to know, number one, not everyone is disciplined like you. Whereas you're a pedestrian, very innocent, a border rider is going to come from a different direction than you expect that. And if in case you didn't check that before, they're going to hit you up. And that is going to disrupt your day. So make sure or be aware that, hey, you're just the number one, or you're just the only one who is disciplined at that particular moment when you hit the road from your home. And always obey that. That will save you, cause that is going to remain you steadily and cautious all the time. Checking who is coming from my right, who is coming from my left, how do I cross? It's the only thing that is going to save you. So every day, make sure you're the number one disciplined person on the road. That is going to help us curb traffic, curb accidents, and a lot more associated with the traffic disruptions.
I have a Nigerian comedian I normally watch on YouTube. He's called Baba Rex. So when you mention champion, he normally says the number one, the champion.
And we cannot speak about traffic without really speaking about cars, where now we head into car dealers decrying for high taxation. Now, the second-hand car dealers have decried for taxi hikes, imposed tax hikes. You know, taxis and tax, sometimes they tend to confuse. But taxi hikes onto tax hikes again onto the imposed second-hand vehicles that is coming in from government, which are higher than the prices at which their cars actually are being bought from countries that they are manufactured, and bringing them here. The negative impact of taxation around there is affecting the consumers, forcing them to purchase them at a very high price. We take a look at the story. You can discuss with us what you think on this particular one. We do return after this look.
Ugandan citizens, just like many other developing countries in Africa, prefer importing used cars, especially from Japan. While used Japanese cars tend to be more popular, cars imported may also be new. Hence, some regulations have been put in place to manage the importing process. In an interview with Smart 24 TV, Mr. Kitio Abubakari, the Public Relations Officer, Prime Car Sales Center in Kampala, he says that high taxes are imposed on them when importing the cars. He says that the taxes charged are higher than the costs at which they buy these cars.
We buy these cars from Japan at approximately 15 million. Then when they reach Mombasa, we pay another 3 million for the person that is going to drive from Mombasa to Kampala. That includes fuel, service of the car, and port charges. Then from Mombasa to Kampala, they go straight to the bond. Then at the bond, they give you assessment. The car that you bought for 15 million, you can get the assessment of either 18 million, from 18 million going up. So that means the cost of paying tax is more costly than buying a car from Japan.
He says these cars are purchased online, whereby the buyer looks at the detailed pictures and other specifications of the cars and later makes payments using recognized websites. He goes on to explain that after receiving their products, some customers complain about mechanical problems, which are usually not intended, because most of the dealers do imported car testing by using road trips from Mombasa to Kampala, which proves that the car is in good condition to be used, and also check for extra problems on arrival.
For us, the test we give for the car is from driving from Mombasa to Kampala. So when it reaches here, you go, you clear the taxes, and then you bring the car to the bond. You put it here, then the customer comes after, say like a week, a 2 or a month. They will come, look at the car, bring their mechanic looks at the car, and then they say the car is fine. But then after paying, say like after a month, you might find that the customer comes back complaining of that very car you have sold to him. Some of these things might not be intentional, that I'm saying this car has a problem to the customer. Because say, like a car that has been driven from Mombasa to Kampala for about 1,100 kilometers away from Kampala. Then reaching here, it keeps here for a month or 2. Then a client comes and then buys it. It might not be intentional that I'm giving him a faulty car, but just that thing you might not have overseen it.
He says the most bought cars are from the Toyota company because they are pocket-friendly, both with price and fuel consumption. He further says that the spare parts of the Toyota cars are easily found, unlike the other companies.
They are not common for one thing. First, they are not pocket-friendly, as in repairs. And then fuel also. Their consumption of fuel is different from that of Toyota. So you can say, like Kaundo now, the consumption of it, like the 2.4, it goes for about 10 kilometer per liter. But when you go to another type, say like Nissan, it might go for 6 or 5 kilometer per liter. So you see it is not friendly. Then with repairs, these Toyota cars, all the spares are all over.
Sevia Tumwichirize, Smart 24 Prime News.
Very well, and there you have got it in case you want to be a part of potential buyers. I've got one here. Sonko has got an experience of a potential buyer to share with. When you look at a car, what do you dream about? I don't know even. You can share with us your vision of, as a potential buyer, what is your vision towards car moments, vehicle experience, vehicle exposure? You're a gentleman.
I need a Toyota Vanguard. There's a Volkswagen Touareg. Is it Touareg? You see, I look at these two vehicles. And
are you advertising for a Toyota?
No, they're not. Okay, I'm not. But I'm looking.
You're trying to tell them what you want. Okay, then.
In that, if there is a viewer
tell
willing,
them they're going to buy for you.
Who's willing to send me that money instantly? Well, when you talk about
do you need money? You need a vehicle. This is what I'm trying really to, because
I don't want to go
as
there
a potential buyer
for a loan. Yes, I'm a potential buyer.
Okay, in fact, let me differentiate
Not
them. There is a potential buyer. There is a potential admirer. Even now, they are potential admirers. Really, they are just admirers, plain admirers. And
I'm a potential buyer.
Okay, then.
In terms of future prospects, so I feel I need to buy it. But when you talk about the vision, I believe, well, transportation.
What makes you think this car is good?
Well, it depends on circumstances. But when you look at having a personal car, it saves a lot. Also, when you want to move late in the night and you can't access maybe a bus station, and it takes, very many things for long journeys, and you want to have your own car, family.
When you talked about a bus station, I just remembered a movie, and compared it to the country here. Do we have a bus station?
We have bus parks.
We have bus parks. A place where keeps buses, so you are designated for only those places. You're not going to find a bus on a certain station or any stage and then you hit it. No. Isn't that one challenge? Because you just talked about it, but you're late to go to a bus station, and I'm like, okay, we don't have a bus station. And I think we need bus stations. But we're also still looking further for what Chira Motors will have to be bringing on board, that they are planning to bring the Kayolas and how they will be kuyola you to your different
Whether you're
destinations.
from Kampala to Kajasi.
But more so on a conclusion on the second-hand vehicles. To me, I have had a friend who has got a second-hand vehicle, and her experience was actually great. She did not have any problem with the vehicle this time. And the problem comes when you have now to sell it back. Maybe when you want maybe a new brand or any new entrant, and you want to sell it back. Even when you feel that this car is really up to standard, it is good, naye erinya second hand likuseza. Do you get that? You might have a good product, Sonko, Jora. You might have a good
about second hand. I still don't understand that. You know, some of the first. Bangumu.
As we head into the break, just to highlight, as I reach my point home, really, as I reach my point home, I'm trying to let you know here that sometimes, yes, we go for the second hands, we go and embrace them, but when you want to change at some point, it's always, getting back to you. Someone will always criticize what you have got because it's second hand, even when it's actually okay, even when it's very in maybe a great mood or any mode, but they tend to face criticism. And also towards the story on importation taxation the government tries to impose. I mean, why would you go and buy a vehicle outside or in America or Japan and you import it here? It has to incur a tax. Why? Why aren't you supporting what we have in the country already so that that revenue goes directly? That is why, government tries now to make the two of you, the one who is buying around here and the one who is buying from outside, you be at the same pace. Nobody is going to cheat. Whereas you buy it maybe at maybe 5 million from Japan, you're going to incur at least maybe even 20 million here, so that you be equal to the person who is buying it from here. Nobody is going to be cheating. That is what government is doing. But at some point, is it fair as you conclude? Is it fair?
Well, I think it is fair to note that government doesn't want a lot of, let's say, imported vehicles. Second hand coming into our market, but then it would be fair enough if at all we've started producing on a high scale our own vehicles, and we also hope that they won't be that expensive once we're done with that. Well, besides that, I hope you do get your vehicle if at all you are a potential buyer like I am, and let me hope that I can as well get that for myself. Besides that, after the break, we discuss the entertainment industry. How is it faring post-lockdown?
Or is it going? Or is it going
or down? Well, with that, we shall return. Keep it smart means business.